Oh, God.
Okay, that's it for the good stuff. Let's get to the bad shit and everything that pissed me off.
I can't even, talk right now. It just infuriated me so much. I'm just like...
I just swallowed gum, I'm so upset.
This movie straddles the line between mediocrity and total suckage.
I think I'm done with Star Wars.
I hate this movie more than I've hated anything I've ever seen in my life.
This movie reminded me of the pre-artistic point at waste of time. Like, oh my god, this was bad.
I have no reaction. This feels so bland. It was...
Hey, I'm shooting a Star Wars video where I'm bitching and complaining right after the movie. So can I call you right back?
This video is going to be a train wreck.
This is like my 5th take on this video, and I start to talk about episode 9, and I just like the film, I can't make it make sense.
This film shits the bed the moment you think about it.
The movie fucking destroyed me, man. This movie broke me.
I gotta get this out. I hated this movie. This movie sucked. I hated this movie. I hated everything about this movie. I ain't like one thing about this movie. Not one thing.
God, what a piece of shit. What a pile of shit.
What have you done, Disney? You were handed this on a silver platter, and oh my god, what did you just do to it?
Disney, man. You motherfuckers. I swear to God.
Just came back from watching Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and
This movie got me very close. I'm talking about this close to going to the dark side.
This is the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
And it is so bad, I can't even comprehend it.
Michael Bay's worst film was better than this shit.
Just chill out, it's just a movie. It's all about the fun. It's about entertainment purposes. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Let me just start off by saying, what the fuck was this?
This title is off. This is the most inappropriate title. Why is it called Rise of Skywalker?
What a fucked up title for a Star Wars movie.
The most disappointing title for a movie that you can create.
What the fuck is this title anyway? The Rise of Skywalker.
What is this called? Not
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Force Awakens, Last of Jedi, Skywalker Rise.
Just someone put me out of my misery.
I've nicknamed this film The Rise of Skank Dyker. And that's not a slight on Ray or anything like that. I just think this film is, I don't know, it's a travesty. It's so bad.
I don't even want to say the name. It's just long and stupid. Okay, it's just long and really, really dumb. Fuck!
This is the last time I'm ever going to have to review one of these shitty Star Wars movies, so let's get on with it.
Good God, where to start?
Here is my problem.
Number 1, the opening crawl.
I already have problems with the opening crawl. The opening fucking crawl. And I have problems because the first line is, "The dead speak." Like, what are we, in a zombie movie?
The dead speak. Emperor Palpatine has made a podcast.
Palpatine sent out a transmission telling everyone he's back and that he's gonna do some evil shit or some shit.
Guess who's back? Back again. Palpatine. Tell all your friends so you can warn them to not to watch this fucking part of shit.
Is this really happening? Did they really bring my nigga Palpatine, the Emperor, back? Like, what the fuck? Wait, hold on.
Why? And why is it off screen? You don't put something like that off screen. That's so significant. That's such a significant plot point. So, like,
and they just shove the Emperor in your face like he was there the whole time, and the explanation for him is so poor.
How is he alive? Forbidden Sith technique that we're not gonna explain in the freaking movie.
Palpatine doesn't even tell us how he survived.
Where he comes from, how it's explained.
Palps is back, baby. I ain't dead. You can never kill me.
It's like, boom, Palpatine's back. There you go. That's your information. Have fun with that.
How did he... it's again one of those things where, like, when you're a kid, like, you blow up on the Death Star. Nuh-uh. I got, like, powers to my soul.
It seems like they pulled Palpatine out of nowhere.
It just feels like they just pulled him out of a hat.
They're like, oh, hey, where'd you get that from? I pulled it out of my ass.
They ran out of characters to bring back, man. Luke, Han, Leia. Look, they brought everybody back to, like, who's left.
Palpatine should have been hinted at from the very beginning, whether it was obvious or not.
No mention of him, no indication of him, no hint of him in The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi. And suddenly, oh hey guys, I'm here, let's throw a party.
You got electrocuted, thrown down a shaft where we watched you blow up, and then the ship you were on also got blown up.
How the fuck did he get from point A to point B, get hooked up to life support?
You know what they did? They said, let's go down there and check on him. They went down there and they saw him there like this. They said, scoop him up. They took him to a lab and plugged plasma veins in his body and slowly regenerated him.
Palpatine is now this weird, like, Dementor-esque zombie attached to life support.
And now he's just like this corpse on a crane. Like a big baby bouncer, but scary.
He's like a Disney animatronic. He's like, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. Our pizza is palpable. You can't match taste of that magnitude.
The neatest floats around I've ever Palpatine. It's just ridiculous.
I still think it might be his corpse from, well, at least his charred body from the Death Star explosion.
He landed on his fingers? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he fell fingers first. When he was shooting.
Broke a nail. It looks like his corpse is pretty intact. He's just missing a few fingers. That's right, Grampy Palpy just lost some digits.
If the Emperor's back in this movie, it completely destroys the legacy of Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin is the chosen one. You should have left Palpatine out of this.
It wasn't worth bringing him back. They shouldn't have brought him back.
It makes Darth Vader really look like a bitch. Because if you look back at everything, what the fuck did he do? Darth Vader was just an asshole, and now he's an asshole. That didn't kill the bigger asshole. He tried to, he just failed.
Darth Vader failed and the prophecy never came true.
So, but who cares anymore? Who gives a shit?
The first act is an absolute mess. It flies by.
The movie is immediately already breaking your neck with how fast it's moving.
First Star Wars movie that opens with a montage instead of a scene, man.
Kylo, at the beginning of the movie, apparently is on Mustafar, am I saying that right? I don't know, but the planet where Vader's castle was.
And I had to watch other videos for other people to tell me that that's fucking Mustafar. That looks nothing like Mustafar.
Kylo Ren is like ripping ass on this planet.
It's just Adam Driver murder porn, killing the fuck out of people and stuff.
Why? He's looking for this fucking looks like Sith holocron thing.
Very aptly named Wayfinder. It helps you find your way.
Well, you couldn't come up
a better name, just Sith Wayfinder.
How did he fucking know that the Sith Wayfinder was there?
And he uses it to find Palpatine's location.
Jams it into his flux capacitor and flies off to Exegol.
Which also in the movie, I was like, Dexagol? Exegol? What the fuck are you saying? I feel like I need subtitles for here with this.
Apparently he's on a planet that sounds like Testicle. So Palpatine is hiding on Testicle. Fuck, man.
He's in a big spooky fortress with all these cables coming off of him and stuff.
Oh, we find out who Snoke was. Fucking bullshit, but okay.
Speak of Snoke.
They've scanned past like a tube of liquid and it has Snoke clones in it.
Snoke's in like this big pickle jar or something? Fucking jar of Snokes.
They start out that shriveled, or does he wait for them to get as shriveled as possible, like a pickle?
He's just farming Snokes. Fucking farming for Snokes, mate.
It's just really? That's it from Snoke?
Well, it turns out that Snoke was Palpatine, and Snoke is just a clone.
He literally made Snoke.
Yeah, right, man. Come on. This is stupid.
That's stupid. That's dumb. It's fucking retarded. Oh.
We killed off Snoke in The Last Jedi, so let's just say that Palpatine created clones of him.
The first word in this movie is from fucking Palpatine.
Ah, my boy.
Couldn't believe that when I seen it.
Oh, Kylo, you can be by my side. I just need you to kill the girl. Even though when I see the girl later, I'm gonna tell her that I don't want to kill her. But right now, I'm telling you to kill her.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider unnatural.
I've died many times before. Like, bruh, that's going to explain why this motherfucker's been going like forever.
And it's all been Palpatine manipulating Kylo Ren. Bullshit!
Hey, buddy, Kylo. I was Snoke. I was the Darth Vader in your head. Me!
I'm every voice you ever heard in your head.
What? What? How does that make any sense?
I've been behind it the whole time, like, motherfucker.
Hey, you can trust me. I've only killed every apprentice I know, including your father's.
I'm gonna give you so much fucking power, you're gonna like go to the next level of this video game.
And he's just like, sure, whatever.
Kylo Ren goes to find Rey, basically.
And then you flash to Rey sitting Indian style saying, "Be with me."
And float like an atom in the middle of a core of rocks spinning around like electrons.
That just looked horrible.
And the way she does it, she's like, oh, fuck this shit, I know everything. She hasn't earned this. She hasn't earned any of this, yet here she is, perfect little fuckwit.
Because apparently she needs to train now, even though she never did in either of the previous movies. Now she needs to train.
I don't care to see Rey train. You know why? She's already the best.
She still isn't Mary Sue. Like, this is J.J. Abrams trying to, put the...
Give context to how she's Mary Sue, despite the fact she's already one.
But I was like, girl, it ain't enough training in the world that is going to get you from where you were in The Last Jedi to where you are at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker.
So she runs around, does a little Jedi training course.
And yet she's struggling to force balance on a fucking rope while fighting off a little zappy dude. Like, really? Really?
Remember, she couldn't hit the ball? Mm-hmm. And then she had to hit the ball with her spear.
She savagely beats her training droid to death with her stick and accidentally drops a tree on BB-8.
She can't even finish basic training from what I see. She couldn't even finish, there's an obstacle course, a Jedi obstacle course. Couldn't finish it.
She calls Leia master, and I'm like, have we seen Leia train a fish?
And another fucking thing to say that Leia is a Jedi.
Turns out she was a Jedi.
She's Rey's Jedi Master.
We haven't seen Leia, who is a principal character.
do anything. Like, when did she ever get any... Really?
How is Leia gonna be a master? God dang, let me go into histories and make a CG scene of her beating the shit out of Luke.
She's doing fucking spin kicks. She's throwing him over his shoulder.
And guess who wins the duel, of course? The strong woman.
She beats Luke.
What?
Boom, dumps him on his ass, and he pulls up his blast helmet. It's young Luke. She pulls up her blast helmet. It's young Leia.
That dude didn't even look like Luke. Why you even do that? Dude, that dude looked more like Luke than she looked like Leia, my nigga. She looked like a plastic claymation doll made by Mattel.
Yeah, Luke was training her. Never came up, like never did we learn about this until now.
And now it's maybe, okay, then that's how she can train Rey, that she was trained by Luke. Okay, fine. But it's sad that you need to do that because we're all like, how and where did you get all this?
And then, on the very last night of her Jedi training, Leia had a vision.
She stopped her Jedi training because she saw a vision that if she completed her training, then her son would die.
Well, cheers, mate. He died anyway.
Cut to Chewie. He's playing chess against Finn and Poe on a Falcon.
We got to see Chewbacca, R2-D2, some freaking slug creature thing.
They're going to reconnoiter with a spy.
There's a mole in the First Order or the New Order, whatever the fuck it's called. Who cares?
The Final Order. That's pretty fucking stupid if you ask me.
First Order to Final Order, that's amazing!
JJ, did your 5-year-old son come up with that name?
So, there is a spy in the First Order that has been sending information to the Resistance.
Because I guess we need to throw the Resistance a bone after they've been completely and fucking total and utterly blown to smithereens at the end of The Last Jedi.
They get the message, they get attacked by TIE fighters, but in order to escape, they have to do something called light speed skipping.
They pull this move out of their ass that makes no sense called hyper jump skipping.
Just by punching the lever and unpunching, punch and unpunch, punch and unpunch.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when they're doing the jumps and like you can only do 50 at a time, and they did 700. Like that's like the popping in and out of, planets and their fate. Like, and they skip between worlds while being chased by TIE fighters. And he's saying, "How are you doing this?" And it's as if that was the movie in the first act. It's if the movie was hyperspace jumping and skipping.
Boom, scene change. Boom, scene change. Boom, we're on a totally different planet. Boom, we're in space doing shit.
You had no time to dwell on any of it. They would exposition dump, wipe, expedition dump, wipe, expedition dump, next scene, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just slow it down.
Keep it moving, keep it moving. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. We got 2.5 hours for this. We ain't got time for this. Gotta go, gotta move, gotta move, gotta move, gotta move.
It just felt like everything was rushed. Ugh.
I don't know what's up, what's down, I don't even know who I am anymore.
The reason it moves so fast, so you don't ask any questions while you're watching the film.
If we move fast enough, nobody will notice.
You fill in the gaps there. We're not going to do that because we don't have time.
Let's do this new stuff that makes no fucking sense, and why didn't anyone use it before?
Because apparently, when it comes to flying through hyperspace...
That was easy.
I thought light speed skipping is really dangerous because you're just jumping from one location to another location in light speed, going into hyperspace.
But what's funny about that is in the very first movie, Han Solo was like, if you don't chart a course, you're gonna hit something.
You have to make a bunch of really mathematical calculations to make sure you don't end up, in the center of a moon?
But apparently you can do that multiple times with the Millennium Falcon, even though it did damage the Millennium Falcon and Poe was able to do that.
No human pilot without the Force would be able to do that.
The Millennium Falcon is on fire in this film, and just a bit of servicing, it's A-okay again.
Well, anyway, the Falcon comes back, everybody gets reunited, and this is the first time we get to see Rey, Finn, and Poe together in a movie. We've never seen them all together.
And then, out of nowhere, as we're all chatting up Resistance bullshit, fucking Meriadoc Brandybuck, Mary from Lord of the Rings, Dominic Monaghan, is just here for no reason.
He's in the Lord of the Rings movies. He's one of the main characters, and here he's out of focus in the background.
And he just keeps popping up, reminding us that we're watching a movie and that a fucking Hobbit is in here for some fucking reason.
Because you're like, wait a second, which trilogy am I watching? Did I put it in the wrong movie?
He has one line in this movie.
Why are you here? Why why is Mary here? Are they taking the hobbits to Isengard? Guard? Because I don't know!
So Poe tells everybody in the Resistance about Palpatine returning and about this new armada from Exegol, and Rey was able to figure out about Exegol and the Wayfinder.
So now we have to go to Piranha. I don't remember the name of the planet, but it sounded like Piranha, so it's Piranha now.
The fourth sand area in this franchise, this was called Pasana.
And so they go to this discount Tatooine to find this Pathfinder, Wayfinder, whatever the fuck. There's all these people having a rave, like all these aliens raving and shit.
Where you're like, where did this come from?
And a young girl that looks like a little piggy hands Rey a necklace because she's awesome.
She goes, what's your name? And she's, I'm Rey. And she said, what? Rey, what? And, you know, Rey's like, I don't know.
I don't have a family. I don't have a family name.
Why are we so obsessed with last names in outer space? Who cares?
God forbid this little kid giving out necklaces ever meets Yoda. You know, like, what's your last name? And he's like, I don't know. Baby?
Rey gets a bead, she puts it on. She's like, yeah, I like this place, right? So Kylo Ren does his Force Skype, right? He's like, Rey, I see you.
Rey and Kylo are having like this Force mind fucking. He grabs a necklace off of her.
Kylo rips her necklace off when they're not even in the same, they're not within 1,000 miles of each other, which just makes everything too easy.
Apparently you can transport stuff. You can it would be so convenient, right?
Just reach into someone's world and take something, which just is ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Kylo Ren is tracking Rey through the galaxy. Why? When you could just pop up next to her and conversate with her and take physical things off her body and then get it in your end.
Why couldn't he try to reach out to Rey, grab onto her, and pull her into his location?
And then you have the fateful line from Rey, I can see through the cracks in your mask.
They're fucking cracks! Thank you, Captain Obvious. I get you're going for a metaphor here, but like, wow, way to take this metaphor and just beat it with a baseball bat until it's dead.
I don't think it's a metaphor if it hits you like a truck.
What JJ missed from Last Jedi was Kylo's mask. So Kylo has the guy put it back together with some 66 Batmobile red piping, man. The space equivalent of duct tape.
I don't think welding the outside of the helmet back together is going to make the inside voice module work.
So this is the only reason we have this festival, is so she can get this necklace so he can tear it off for through the Force.
And he's like, oh, let's find the coordinates of where this shit came from.
Let's analyze this necklace and find out that they're on Piranha. And guess who happens to be on this planet to help guide them is Lando.
Lando is in this movie. Why? Why not? Because.
Who just happens to have the information they need to find the MacGuffin to help them find the other MacGuffin.
Because instead of something intriguing, we get basically fetch questing from one MacGuffin to the next while new characters and old characters make cameos and drop exposition.
You go to this planet, you get this MacGuffin. This MacGuffin leads you to this MacGuffin. This MacGuffin leads you to that MacGuffin. They got fucking physical MacGuffins, live MacGuffins.
It's like MacGuffin. That's why it's really MacGuffin here, because one arm been on MacGuffin plan and another MacGuffin plan. It's just, what?
We got to go here to do this, and here to do this, and here to do this.
To get to the thing. We got to go get a thing that'll tell us how to find a thing that'll take us to another thing.
To get that thing, they're going to have to go to a place and get another thing, and go to another place and get another thing.
And every item they needed was just off screen. The whole freaking movie.
We need to find this thing. Oh, it's broken. Don't worry, I know a guy who can fix it. Oh, that's great. Oh, we found this thing. We need to find another thing. Oh, dang. Someone took that thing that we needed to find to go there. Don't worry, there's a second one right underneath the sink.
Everything the characters needed, someone was there to tell them right away. No questions asked.
I just wish that they didn't waste our time with finding a wayfinder, to find a signal, to find a dagger, to find a medallion, to find a person, to find a ship, to beat the First Order. Like, who cares about that stuff?
Rey and the others regroup. He tells everybody that Ren knows where they are. A stormtrooper finds them, but is attacked by the contact that they're trying to find, which turns out to be Lando Calrissian.
Oh, is that Lando? Oh.
Hey, I happen to be here for some reason. What's up, guys? You should fly with us. No, my flying days are over. Sure they are. Yeah, of course.
And he's like, I have a bad feeling about this. He says the thing, he says it.
I was like, oh my god, is that what we're doing now?
That's what we're doing now.
And they steal the speeders, which kind of feels like also like a pod race when they're going in between the canyons. I was like, this feels very much like a pod race. Again, recycling.
They go off to the desert. They get chased by stormtroopers. We get the infamous, they fly now? They fly now.
They can fly now.
They can fly, they can fly, they can fly!
That's a stupid scene, honestly, because jetpacks are a thing in Star Wars. We've seen people fly.
Despite the fact that it's canon and proven, the Empire had jetpacks. Why is this a big deal, people?
Also, Finn is a former stormtrooper, so he should have known that there were troopers in the First Order that used jetpacks.
So conveniently, we are catapulted to right next to the ship, but we land in weird quicksand that doesn't start sucking us down until after we've successfully dispatched the rest of the stormtroopers.
But there's one little black patch of quicksand in the middle of this valley, like a little sign, and they all land like right there on that one patch of sand.
Yeah, alright. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is about that quicksand, they land there. They're fine for about maybe a minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not black when they land in it, and then just magically sucks them in.
It just magically takes effect after they defeat the last of the soldiers.
And Finn thinks he's going to die, and he yells, "I never got to tell you," and then he gets cut off.
There's something I need to tell Ray. I was gonna call her Rose. Whatever. Poor fucking Rose. Poor Rose. Oh, poor Rose.
Remember the love story between Finn and Rose? Oh, it doesn't exist anymore. Rose is barely in the movie.
Bruh, I thought you were with the Asian chick. Right?
Now, Finn and Rose have like no lines with each other at all. So forget their kiss. That's just a thing. Just happened.
So we never address that kiss with Rose ever again, like at all. Like Rose is just a nothing character in this movie. She's just there to be like, remember me, I exist, and J.J. Abrams has to put me in this movie or fans are gonna be pissed.
He didn't deal with Rose Tico. He just wrote her out.
She's basically a nobody in this film.
The fact that they had Rose's ass barely in the movie, I was just like, as soon as they showed her and it turned out she wasn't going with them, I was like,
he pats her on the shoulder. He's like, do you remember that? He's like, stay back, buddy.
She's clearly in the friend zone.
Fuck Rose. We'll just have her do her own thing. Like, it's so bizarre.
She would have gone on the adventure, but she has like a lot of studying to do.
Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up?
In fact, no characters are from The Last Jedi in this. You don't see DJ, you don't see Rose, you don't see none of those new characters.
Apparently he was just going through a little, Asian persuasion that season. And then he has like this sick compulsion about Rey.
They made him like a bumbling comedic relief and sidekick to Rey.
He reverted back to being like, Rey, do you need my help? Rey, help! Rey! Just...
We should do like a drinking game with how many times Finn yells,
Rey! No, Rey! Oh my gosh, Rey! Motherfucker, what the hell is wrong with you?
Finn, Rey is busy. Go talk to your husband.
Just move on. She's not that into you. It's gonna be okay.
At that point, Finn, Poe, Rey had all been sucked into this quicksand, and I was praying that they would never come out. I thought, this is the answer to everything.
But it's fine. It's fine because basically the quicksand is like the devil's snare and the Philosopher's Stone of Harry Potter.
So, very Harry Potter's Devil's Snare moment where we just relax and drop through into the hole below, and just turns out that's what happened to this guy that we're looking for, who has the thing, and oh my god, here's his ship, and here's his bones, and here's that dagger we were looking for, because...
That was easy. They find a dagger that's a clue to the exact thing they're looking for.
That honestly looks like it should be part of some little kid's Halloween costume rather than a prop in a multi-million-dollar Hollywood movie.
So anyway, this dagger has Sith writing on it that only C-3PO can understand, but he can't translate.
He takes the Force dagger, he can read the Force dagger, but he can't speak what he read because he was programmed not to speak it.
Billions of forms of communication, but he doesn't know this one language that they need this one time in this one freaking movie. It's ridiculous, right?
His programming is like, no, I'm forbidden from translating Sith.
Because Sith language is bad. Hate speech.
He's a protocol droid. built by Anakin Skywalker.
Why would he program him to know the language if he can't fucking translate it?
And then this part cracked me up. This is just funny. Before they get this fucking thing, there's a giant snake in there. And it's kind of a puppet snake. And it's all angry and shit. And it's going to eat them. But it's got a gash. It's got a wound on its side. And Rey says, wait, because...
Rey speaks parcel tongue and knows what the snake wants. Oh my god, he's hurting. Let me heal him and now we'll be friends.
When I saw her heal that snake in that tunnel, when I saw her put her hand,
knew she was gonna do
I
that.
knew she was going to do it.
Y'all see this shit?
She heals the snake like Jesus fucking Christ, the Messiah. Puts her hand on it and heals the snake. How?
Seid Feiglinge, verreiter Versager! Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich. Die Generalität ist das Geschmeiß des deutschen Volkes. Sie ist ohne Ehre!
It kind of feels weird because that hasn't happened before in any of the movies. That's completely new.
She starts using force powers that I even know was possible. Bruh, I kid you not.
Here she's like healing wounds. She's like Jesus. Yeah. It's like they doubled down, like they're trolling the people that don't like Rey with this one.
She's Space Jesus. That's what she is. She's Space Jesus.
And it's just so ridiculously silly that I laughed out loud right there in the theater. That was not the last time I did that.
And you know when she put her hand on that centipede, it's like, oh, this is a plot device for later.
So they can have exposition and tell us about this plot device of force healing.
Rey heals it and then it's all nice and it moves and the snake was blocking the way out or some shit. So this snake's been like stuck in this hole for like 20 years. What's going on?
From there on, Poe's like, well, what do you want to tell Rey before you thought we were going to die? He said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. And then Rey's like, oh, what did you want to tell me when you thought we were going to die? He's like, oh, don't worry. I will tell you later.
And they never actually confirmed what he wanted to tell her. And I think that's bullshit.
I don't understand why they didn't pay that off. It's stupid to me.
If you're not going to have a payoff
If you're not going to pay off, just cut it out.
cut that out. Yes.
Moving forward from there, it just gets funnier. it just gets funnier from there.
So they finally arrive at Ochi's ship.
And she's like, I've seen this ship before. That's already a funny sentiment to me in Star Wars. Like, spaceships are mass-produced, right? I don't sit in traffic and, like, see a blue Honda Civic and go, I've seen this car before.
Rey feels a disturbance of the Force. Kylo Ren shows up in his TIE fighter.
So for some reason, Kylo just knows where the fuck she is, finds her.
Even though she could have just stayed in the ship and helped them fix it up so that they could fly away. But no, she's got to confront Kylo Ren.
Was he trying to run her over? What the fuck? What the fuck was the point?
Kylo Ren said he didn't want to kill her. So why was he flying his TIE fighter at her at 500 miles an hour?
The only reason she goes out there is so Kylo Ren can try to run her down in his TIE fighter and she can just go, oh, watch what I can do. Because remember I could barely finish an obstacle course because you were distracting me? Well, now that you're here, let me show you all my tricks.
Rey does the flippity flip because Mary Sue and she could do whatever she wants.
There is plenty of Mary Sue.
Mary Sue on fucking HGH steroids.
The Mary Sue-ness of Rey is kind of showing a little bit.
How do you... I guess she just skipped all the tutorials. She skipped all the tutorials and just put in God mode.
Doing backflips, cutting off wings of TIE fighters in full God mode.
She does her awesome jump, cuts off a wing,
and rolled at probably 5 million G's, and then it exploded.
Into flames and fire everywhere.
And Kylo is left unharmed.
And he walked out without a single scratch on him.
No scratch on him, no bruise, no burns. All of his clothes were intact. There were no like burns from his clothes.
I mean, his full suit is intact, Pimpin'.
And his hair is fucking perfect.
How did he walk out that ship?
Right. That's what I...
How did he survive that?
You said
it blew up.
Dead.
Fuck's sake, dude. For fuck's sake. What the fuck? Oh my god. Like, ugh.
Finn noticed Rey not being there or being out in the middle of the desert. And he asked Chewbacca to go get her, even though he could get her himself, but whatever.
Chewbacca goes to find her.
He walks right out into
into the planet with the dagger that they had been searching for, right?
Chewbacca gets captured by the First Order and the prisoner transport takes off.
They're taking Chewie away in a cargo ship. Okay? Get this shit, right?
And Finn, like, runs out from behind a rock, and he's waving his arms frantically, and he's like,
Chewie's on the ship! Finn, it's all over the place. I'm like, you in love with Chewie, you in love with Rey, pimping, picking, which side you on?
watches with his own eyeballs as Chewbacca is loaded onto a transport in the middle of this huge, open, barren desert.
I'm expecting her to fly up there. You know how Leia did?
So she uses the Force, of course, Mary Sue.
Force pulls. She force pulls a ship. Pimping.
And that shit was like, I said, oh my God, what is this shit?
Rey is so OP.
She was a Mary Sue before. Now she's fucking unstoppable.
Here comes Kylo. This troubled ass. We know what's gonna happen. He uses the dark side of the Force to make it go. And now they're playing tug of war. They're literally playing Force tug of war with a megaton spaceship with rocket propellers.
Wait. And I would like to stop for a moment and just remind everybody how stupid this is.
So Rey is stopping the thrust of the ship and Kylo's pull.
Yeah, and that made her ejaculated.
And then she
I felt like she was having an orgasm or something, and then Force lightning came out of her hands.
She uses the lightning. Bruh.
And destroys the ship.
And she's like, Chewie! And everybody thinks Chewbacca's dead, and even Finn's like, no!
They really just killed Chewie?
They better not have killed Chewie. I remember looking at my brother going, what in the fuck?
Our heroes have to escape in Uche's ship, who just happens to have a Me Too droid aboard who was abused.
They have a robot now that's like a victim of abuse.
That's the one that looks like a hairdryer.
Let's just soccer balls, a robot, a hairdryer. Let's put a dildo in there. Why not? Because you know what? We're just f***ing my saga right in the ass.
He says, I am Dio, and the first thing that pops into my head is, Kono Dio-da! It's just why? Why did you name the droid Dio? Like, so what purpose does he serve? Nothing for the whole movie, aside from like giving some info or some shit. I don't know, but he's just there. He kind of like speaks in a stutter.
How can a rolling droid get everywhere they were throughout this film? There's no wheelchair accessible all throughout this galaxy and shit. They were rolling upstairs and everything, bro.
They're all like, we gotta keep going for Chewie. Oh, but they can't because they lost the dagger. It's in possession with Kylo Ren.
C-3PO says the knife inscription is in his memory banks. They don't need the fucking knife. He's like, well, I memorized it. And Poe says, well, I know a droid cracker, man, on Kijimi, who could get that message from the knife from your head, translate it and stuff.
Now we gotta go and find the one guy who can reprogram it, who's on Kimchi. I can't remember the name of the planet. We're calling it Kimchi. It sounds like Kimchi.
In the beginning of the next quest, Kylo Ren's Star Destroyer shows up at Kijimi.
The movie is a series of Rey is a place, Kylo shows up, blah, blah, blah. She fucks off. He chases.
They go to a place, and the bad guys follow them, and then they run to a new place, and the bad guys follow them, and they run to a new place, and the bad guys follow them. It's like Rogue One planet hopping. It's just nonsense.
They could be going to get ice cream, and he just somehow happens to be there.
And we find out there's a very alive Chewbacca aboard because Rey senses this.
The elevator doors open, and it's Chewie, and I'm like, oh, okay.
He's not really dead. Just like Palpatine, no one's really dead in the Star Wars universe. So when someone dies, it has zero gravitas now.
And no one reacted when it happened. Like at the cinema, everyone was dead quiet. So clearly no one believed it happened for a second.
They're never gonna kill Chewie. Like there's someone's like, we need to sell some of these toys. Like little Chewie gravestones.
Good news, Rey. You just exploded other sentient people, but not Chewie, so it's actually fine.
Nothing changed because they thought he was dead for like 20 minutes.
Would have been a kind of interesting thing
for Rey to have to deal with, because it would have been her fault. It would have been like, oh my god, am I out of control? Can I control my powers?
You know, Rey will blame herself. She will grapple with the responsibility of her Force powers and whether or not she can be trusted, and maybe there will be tension with her friend.
Like, nope, that's all out the window.
Well, I want this film to have impactful moments, but I don't really want to deal with the actual impacts, so I'll usually, undo them immediately.
Because that just,
They should have killed Chewie.
There was a second transport that nobody saw, but yet he was on it.
There was only one transport the whole time. We saw a transport land. Finn and Poe had their eyes on it the whole time. They saw him getting put in the transport. We're going to show the audience something, and then we're going to lie and say, no, what you saw, what we showed you, that was wrong.
I feel like if you're going to pull this kind of contrived switcheroo, you need to have some kind of scene to set it up ahead of time.
And so we land on the planet, stormtroopers are everywhere. We conveniently, almost immediately find his old buddy, Tits. We're just going to call her Tits because it's Carrie Russell, but we'll just call her Tits because her outfit has a lot of those on it.
She's wearing a giant Boba Fett mask, calls herself Zori.
Go Power Rangers.
Zuri shows up, and what's she gonna do? She's gonna shoot Poe, because guess what? Her and Poe were spice runners.
I hate that Poe was like a drug dealer for some reason. His friends are like, what? You dealt drugs? And he's like, it was a long time ago.
Where does it fit in that he was this sketchy drug dealer for like 10 years?
You just now figure out what the heck Poe was doing before, everything with the Resistance happened. And it was just like, why? You've had 3 2.5 hour movies to really give us something more about these characters.
God, give me one reason I shouldn't kill you. And Rey's like, I'm gonna beat you all up.
Finn, a trained stormtrooper, doesn't know how to fight and just stands there while Rey beats up everyone with her staff.
And conveniently beating up all of her friends endears her to Rey and makes her want to help them because...
She just beat you! You have no reason to like them. You have no reason to trust them. A minute ago, you wanted to turn them in for the bounty because the stormtroopers are looking for them, and you need the money. You need the credits because your entire life you've been trying to get off this damn planet, or for whatever amount of time.
Carrie Russell leads the gang through a Star Wars bar to meet Babu Frick, this movie's Baby Yoda.
He's just the cutest little merchandising opportunity.
Babu Frick more or less warns everyone, he can sort of de-encrypt the Sith language, but it will wipe C-3PO's memory.
Well, if you kind of reboot me, or wipe my memory or something, I can bypass that protocol, and then I can tell you what it says.
Oh, we're going to erase your memory, you're going to forget everything.
By being like, well, I guess we have no other choice. But it really feels like they're forcing him into it. They are killing him, because if you lose your entire consciousness or your memeries, you're dead. You've been killed.
And they treat it as kind of like sad because it's the last you'll ever see of C-3PO or something like that. And you know what? It's a sweet scene. If it wasn't for the fact that C-3PO had to say, I'm taking one last look at my friends.
What the freak is going on? One last look at my friends.
Since when were Finn, Rey, and Poe his friends?
They treated you like crap! 3PO? Why are you calling them friends?
Oh, he is the punching bag through the entire thing. Poe treats him like shit.
They get C-3PO to say what's on the dagger. His eyes go red. They have to wipe his memory to do it.
But don't worry, he gets it back because there's absolutely no stakes in this film whatsoever.
Guess what they do at the end of the movie? Gets memory back. Yes, right.
R2-D2 just bring back C-3PO memories. Like, in 2 seconds. Hello?
R2-D2 just has his memory backed up. So, no big deal right there.
So what was the point of getting rid of his memory if he was just going to get it back anyway?
To introduce a story element, just to then pull it back and be, okay, it didn't count, then why would you introduce it to begin with?
They do this thing to C-3PO, get the message out, and then he fucking, it says that you can find the Sith Wayfinder in blah, 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 blah. It tells him where to go to find this fucking shit.
He wakes up, he has no memory of anybody. You would think people would be emotional, right? Nope! It's used for comic relief. Poe's like, oh, we're gonna have to deal with this the whole time. Screw you, Poe! We like C-3PO more than we like you!
And also, Zori Bliss and Poe, they kind of have like a moment where she's gonna go off on her own. because she wants to leave the planet, and she asks Poe to go with her. I guess she's not mad at him anymore.
It so happens that Tits has this magical coin that can get you onto anything, anywhere, no questions asked.
And then gave him the most important valuable she owned.
She's like, here, Poe, I've been working for years to get this coin, but you know what? I wanted to kill you 5 minutes ago, then I wanted to get back with you, and now it's like, all right, well, here's my coin that I've been working.
So it's like an all-access pass-through security. That's what it is.
I think it's just a dumb little plot device, because apparently, like, no, nobody recognizes the ship that they stole. They just get the input from the commander code.
But, like, yeah, it's, like, visually obvious they are not part of the, like...
First Order
at all. They basically have what appears to be a repeat of Episode 4 with the whole inspection team going into the ship.
Yeah.
No, they just come out blasting. They could have just had a bit more fun with it and just, like...
So they infiltrate the Star Destroyer, blast a couple stormtroopers, do a Jedi mind trick on them.
Basically shoot their way through the entire, like, base, bringing back the whole stormtroopers can't hit shit.
Yeah.
Many of whom turn out to be women this time around. There's a lot of, like, stop or I'll shoot. Like, ladies' voices under those. None of them shooting very good. So gender doesn't apparently seem to be the problem with Stormtrooper aim.
Finn doesn't have any trouble killing Stormtroopers. He used to be a Stormtrooper, remember? Back in The Force Awakens. Remember that was a thing? He just doesn't care. He kills them all, doesn't care. He's just like a regular Resistance member.
Rey gets a feeling, an instinct that tells her to go get the dagger because she sensed that they might need it.
Kylo's still on this fucking planet. I don't know what he's still doing down there. Rey's in Kylo's room.
And the Reylo shippers are like, oh, she's in his room. She sees his Vader porn, which is now out of its collector case and sitting atop a display stand. Kylo does that mind meld thing.
She ends up getting into another mind link with Ren, and then they get into a lightsaber battle through the mind link.
Like, they're like Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting, or they're like force fighting because they're not in the same room, but they're still fighting, I guess.
So he's on a planet, she's on a ship, force bond, he's now behind her on the ship. How in the...
There's so many force capabilities that I don't even know. I don't know how the force works anymore. I don't know how the force works anymore.
This time, they could actually fight, and they were having a lightsaber fight, and it was going back and forth, but he couldn't see her surroundings until they knocked over the thing that was holding up Vader's helmet.
That's kind of foreshadowing for how shit they treat Darth Vader's character as
Yeah.
From that falling in the snow, he somehow ascertains that, finds out where she is, and then makes his way back up.
Kylo Ren shows up on the ship to confront Rey. Once again, you're here, now I'm here. He's like, I am the grandson of Vader. You are the granddaughter of Palpatine. What do you think of that?
Oh, guess what? Guess what? Palpatine's your granddad!
Yeah, that happened. No one seems surprised by that. Everyone just... You're Palpatine. I just love the fact that they've done this 180 on the parentage thing.
JJ said, oh, Ryan, you said Rey ain't got no parents and lineage? I'm back again. Yes, she does.
Hey, you remember this thing from The Last Jedi? Yeah, not anymore.
Remember when they didn't like Rey not being someone? She's a Palpatine.
And that's why she's so powerful for some reason.
Seeing as, like, with this whole lineage thing and the bloodlines, everybody seems to have, you know, crazy power if they come from somebody big and important.
You can't just be good with the Force. You have to be literally the clone of, or the granddaughter of...
He's the Emperor's daughter. Of course she's going to be able to do everything.
Even with that shit, even with that knowledge, she still needed training, in my opinion.
And somehow Leia already knew that the whole time. Fuck you.
I hate that Luke and Leia knew that Rey was a Palpatine this whole time and were like fine with training her, but then they gave up on Ben. You're telling me that Luke and Leia had more faith in the granddaughter of Palpatine than their own son?
It seems like a last minute idea.
How is she around 5 or 6 years old living with her parents on this planet at the same time that Return of the Jedi was happening?
You mean to tell me that his grandchild and Darth Vader's grandchild are comparable in age?
The Empire fell 30 years before Rey was around, right? So either Rey is like in her 40s or 50s.
I hate when movies force me to do math and then it doesn't add up at all.
So Palpatine had a baby. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I know this is a fantasy movie, but I can only accept so much.
Apparently, Palpatine just has sex and...
Palpatine fucks confirmed.
Palpatine fucks.
Sidious having sex? That's nasty.
That is not fun to imagine at all. Oh, jeez.
Who the fuck is gonna sleep with that creepy ass nigga and have a family with him?
And on a lore side of things, that means it would have been after his face got fucked up. Do you think it's consensual? I don't think it was consensual.
Who did Palpatine bang to even have a son? Pardon my mouth, but I had to get that one off my chest.
Who did he pork?
Yeah, who?
Who had sex with Emperor Palpatine in the world of Star Wars?
Why didn't he try to, pass on everything to his son?
It should have been freaking Sidious's son that was OP and epic. Right. And you didn't even give us nothing about who he was.
Right.
They just showed him on a ship getting her free. And why did he have Force?
Her parents were nobodies, but that's because they chose to be nobody. What kind of stupid... What?
That's what Kylo tells her.
They wanted to protect her, but yes, money did change hands.
Do we really give a shit she's a Palpatine?
And all these stormtroopers are just sitting around like, awkward. Like, do we have to be here for this? Should we not shoot somebody?
Also, one of my favourite things is that when Poe does get shot in the arm, he walks around with an injured arm, presumably for the rest of the film. He's got like a thing on it later on. She doesn't heal him.
Finn and Poe rescue Chewbacca, but they get caught by stormtroopers.
And so Finn and Poe and Chewie are about to be executed.
And here comes this Macaulay Culkin, redheaded Dennis the Menace, ginger tip motherfreaker.
Right.
I'll do it. Pew, 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 pew.
I am the spy.
I'm the spy.
When Hux said, "I'm the spy," that was literally the most over-the-top thing. I chuckled. I laughed. Other people in the theater were laughing too, which I think is the funniest part.
I don't know, it was just so cheesy that it made me feel something, which most of this film did not.
Not only was he the traitor, they told us why he was...
Oh, I don't care if you win. I just want Kylo Ren to lose.
We had to justify the fact that Hux was definitely not sympathetic to the Resistance at all at any point and definitely committed a bunch of genocide in the first movie. But no, he's turned because, oh wait, he got treated like shit by Kylo Ren.
So he's just gonna give up all of that because Kylo Ren was a bully to him.
A course of action that has a 100% chance of leading to his own death.
You know, if Kylo Ren loses, you lose too, and you'll probably die anyway.
So in the very next scene, Hux returns to the bridge and then is discovered as the spy and shot dead.
They just shoot him right in the fucking gut and he flies back like 15 feet and I'm like, yay!
One thing I will say I thoroughly enjoyed about the film is its depiction of gingers. That is one thing I was like, they got that right. They're absolutely correct. Never trust a ginger.
Then J.J. Abrams is like, ladies and gentlemen, tonight the role of General Hux will be played by General Pride. And then we just have this old guy who's the same as Hux and doing things that Hux could have just been doing.
Kylo Ren once again tries to get her to join him because he doesn't want to kill Rey for Palpatine's sake. He wants to recruit her to the side so they can rule the dark side together and kill Palpatine.
Why? Why would she have to join with him at this point at all? There's no real impetus for her to do that.
Rey escapes on the Falcon in this cool move where like Falcon shows up.
And jumps from a hangar to the Millennium Falcon, which was outside of the shield. In space. And she didn't die.
Because that's a normal thing that happens. And they just fuck right off.
And they head to a moon in the Endor system where they find the remnants of the second Death Star.
How on Earth and this giant piece of Death Star wreckage that somehow survived being blown to fucking smithereens, do we find the Wayfinder, which has survived also being blown to fucking smithereens?
We saw it blown to smithereens. We didn't see it blow up and pieces fall.
Nothing left. Atoms. Right? Apparently no. There's wreckage.
And the scale is completely ridiculous. Remember, this is the second Death Star, which was bigger than the first Death Star. So that piece that Rey was looking at with the map that just so happened to line up because they landed in the right place should have been the size of a state.
The Death Star is the size of a planet. It's fucking massive. How can it fall in the sea?
And you'd think like a piece that big would cause like some major impact on the moon, but I guess not.
Heroes meet Janna, who, like Finn, used to be a stormtrooper.
Why are they introducing new characters in this last movie? Like, there's already too much going on. We don't need all these new characters when you have characters that aren't being used.
We're going to ignore all these other characters. We're going to give you a whole bunch of new characters that you've never met before, but you should suddenly care about.
We don't have time for you and your backstories, and we don't care.
We gotta have all the women, all of the new characters. We have to shove these women in your face.
Yeah, Kathleen, you just want the female characters, strong female characters.
So Janna, black chick, is riding around in the space horses. Turns out they're all freed stormtroopers.
She left when she was ordered to fire on civilians, the same as Finn. I don't know, the laziness of it just staggered me.
Are you from the Order? Yeah. Oh my God, so am I. What was your badge number? FN664. Oh my God, mine was FN665. Oh, did we just become best friends? Yup.
And she comes along, she's really friendly and stuff, and she's looking after them or whatever. And Rey finds out where this Pathfinder thing is.
Oh, we'll just pull out the dagger, and it's a map, because...
That was easy.
And Rey pulls out the dagger, and there's like a fucking compass on it.
And she held it up.
And it made the shape of it. It was like the Goonies.
They copied the Goonies.
Yeah.
And just like looks at it and just like she finds it like where they need to go. And I'm like, what? Like, how the fuck did you figure that out? Like, oh, okay, let me just, pull out this little thingy-mabob and oh, the third thing here, that means we gotta go there. What the fuck?
Turns out that somebody made this thing, so if you stand in a very specific spot and point it at the Death Star wreckage, it shows you where you need to go.
If you stand in the exact correct location on the correct crest of the correct beach at the right angle, you can hold up the knife.
How the fuck did she know, to stand at the right spot? It had to be like a 1 out of a bazillion chance.
The Death Star could have fallen in any fucking pattern. It could have been shattered into pieces and it's fallen perfectly so this dagger can find out where this thing is.
If the wreckage gets worn down anymore by the raging ocean that it's sitting in, I guess this knife is just going to be functionless now.
The Sith dagger, I don't know when this thing would have been made.
It had Sith runes on it.
It knew to line up with the crashed remains of the Death Star.
So who, only 40 years prior, knew how to write ancient Sith writings?
The Force, Rich.
Oh, the Force! It's not sloppy writing. It's the Force.
Rey is too goddamn impatient to wait for the waves to calm down, so she goes on the skimmer.
Just go. I've got to do this. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like this bitch doesn't want to be with the team. Like, fuck her.
Being the strong, powerful woman she is, just throws caution to the wind and fucking goes across these tsunamis to go to this Death Star.
Because she's from a fucking desert planet, so how the fuck does she know how to big wave surf?
And of course, Finn has to go off to get Rey because you know how Finn is when it comes to Rey.
At the Death Star wreckage, Rey climbs around like the scavenger she used to be, and we saw in the first movie.
And then in the very next fucking scene, it shows that she can jump 50-foot gaps.
It's like the kid director who's just making stuff up as he goes along when he plays with his aeroplanes and spaceships and rockets.
You're a Jedi and you're strong as shit. Can't you just fly up there? You're Jedi or something. You're so fucking powerful.
Rey arrives on the conveniently intact Death Star.
You've got the entire throne room intact.
I was expecting more damage considering, it got blown out to smithereens, but whatever.
How in the world is it still functional?
finds her way to the intact throne room that has glass in the windows and a door that conveniently opens and finds the Sith MacGuffin, which gives her a dark Rey vision, and we meet Derp Rey.
And she sees herself as a Sith with fucking switchblade lightsaber and shit.
Who happens to be just as nice as the other Rey, minus the fangs.
It scares the shit out of her, but she's got pointy, jagged Yoda teeth when she does it.
Her teeth aren't gonna automatically change just because she becomes a Sith Lord. Like that.
I think they said, have a devilish grin.
That didn't come across at all.
Yeah, it came off as her thinking this whole thing was a farce.
She has a little fight with herself because that's what we've all been waiting for.
Because we've never seen that before. We've never seen the good guy, the hero of the story, the Jedi in training, face down their Sith self.
What was the purpose of the dark Rey vision? It's so pointless.
It turned out dark Rey meant nothing. It was a vision she saw. They hit their lightsabers 3 freaking times. She goes, boo! And then she goes, ah! And falls out of the room. And that's all it was.
And then Kylo Ren shows up. Somehow Rey doesn't sense this, although she was able to sense Chewbacca on a Death Star.
Why is Kylo there? How did he get there? Does he know you're there again?
He was like, hey, I'm also here. Well, I don't know how I got here, how I knew you were there.
Kylo has been like pushing Rey to like unleash her dark side, so getting her really angry. So in order to push her even further, he destroys the Wayfinder.
The only way you're going to exit is with me, and he breaks it and shit.
They have the 5th will they or won't they get it on scene, and then they fight.
I'm getting so sick and tired of seeing these two fight each other.
Rey is in the middle of having a sword fight on a windswept, precarious, slippery metal wreckage. And even then, Finn wants to yell, Rey! By that point, he'd done this so many times that I wanted Rey mid-sword fight to just yell back, like, what, Finn? What? Like, what's his follow-up gonna be? If he gets her attention, is he gonna yell, look out, Rey, you're in a sword fight?
He gets force pushed back.
Yeah, they pretty much like stay out of this. We can handle ourselves, push back. The two of them have a fight.
The fights, I don't feel anything because I don't care about the characters at all.
That's how fast they go when they fight in this movie. It's atrocious.
God-awful choreography, so we can have the moment where he senses that mommy's dying.
He hears his mother's voice, and he freezes.
Princess Leia uses the Force to reach out to Kylo. And then she dies.
She dies. Nothing happened to her. She said Ben.
First of all,
you died.
First of all,
Ben.
First of all,
dead.
Like, I don't think this her saying Ben should have done anything.
Maz is telling us, like, she's the only one who could reach her son now. I don't know why she didn't try this years ago.
There's been no hints whatsoever of her being being sick or being dying or being frail. She seemed perfectly healthy.
She uses the last of her energy.
That much energy will probably kill her.
Wait,
she said.
Flying through space and getting oxygen from nowhere, that didn't really do.
They treated Leia with so much disrespect.
Leia is so shoehorned into this film. She died. Let her rest. Leave her alone.
They skim over her death. This should be such a big moment. Like, Carrie actually died. This should be, like, so poignant, so devastating, and I feel like they just really quickly skipped over that.
Carrie Fisher, they said they said they were reusing her scenes, I think, or something, but it felt more like they just put her in, like it was like, here's a scene for you.
It felt like a puzzle that she belongs in this puzzle, but the piece you're trying to put in here, it's close, but it's not the right piece.
Every line was so short with her. It was clearly you could see that she doesn't belong here. It's like, this is footage that's meant for something else.
And it does her a disservice, some of the scenes weren't even meant for this film, you feel.
I guess Leia died the way she lived. Meaning well, but ultimately hurting her son and making things more difficult for him.
She ends up getting him killed. Mom, I'm lightsaber dueling.
But despite the fact that Kylo Ren was getting the upper hand, Rey wins by a cheap shot.
He drops his lightsaber, and then Rey grabs it, turns it on. Pya!
She fucking stabs him. She would have fucking killed him.
So Rey, since that Leia's dead, she cries. She goes over to Kylo Ren.
And then she force heals Kylo Ren because she feels bad for him.
It's like it was nothing, you know? Like, she just fucking force healed him out. Bitch, you're gonna live because I want Ben Solo back.
And she pulls it out of her ass because the story calls for it.
She never fucking learned how to do these things. She never learned force healing.
If you're gonna bring up these new abilities that we've never seen before, from the movies, you gotta at least make it make sense.
It just doesn't make any sense. You know, we had all of these Jedi Masters who never used that before, never done that. But all of a sudden, this last movie, oh yeah, we heal people now.
And again, like, people dying doesn't mean anything anymore.
There was just a lot of, hey, this character's dead, but it doesn't matter because we're going to bring him back and he's going to basically push the storyline along.
And he's all like, the fuck? And she's like,
I wanted to take your hand, Ben's hand. Let me fucking bet everything I have on that not being written by J.J. Abrams.
Then she flies off in his spaceship.
And leaves him there.
After she leaves him stranded on that water planet, Han Solo come back and like a memory or Force Ghost, it's not really clear.
I'm gonna make it clear here. It's just memory.
I don't care why he's there. Just say your bit and get on to the next scene.
Harrison Ford pops up and is like, you know, they paid me $2 million for this scene.
I thought he was done with Star Wars personally.
Harrison Ford was like, I am done with this shit. So much so, kill me in the first one.
They had to call in some major favors to get him on set.
It's J.J. Abrams. You son of a bitch. Don't you dare ask me. I'm done with this shit. I'm fishing. I have a freaking dog now. Look, Harrison, it's just a scene with you, Ben, and a green screen. That's it. We'll give you extra $1 million. Just come through, do the shots, and go home. We'll fly you out.
Harrison Ford looked like he could not give less of a fuck.
Looked like he just rolled out of bed.
He refused to get his hair cut. I ain't cutting my hair. I'll do the fucking scene, but I'm not cutting my hair.
So him and Kylo have this whole conversation. I have to do something, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. You can do it. You're my son. I'm a nerf herder.
Hey, kid. Stop being a douchebag.
It's okay that you killed me. I'm just a male and a father in Hollywood, so that's meaningless, and your redemption arc is complete.
But that should have been suspicious, because Palpatine talks about being every single voice in his head and all that kind of thing and controlling him, and Kylo is seeing Han and he's not thinking that's manipulating him in any way.
That is the part where Anakin was supposed to appear to Kylo Ren and give him guidance back to the light. I'm fucking positive.
Why was Anakin Skywalker not there to have a character Star Wars focused emotional conversation?
I wanted Anakin to speak to Ben, okay? I wanted a Ben and Anakin moment.
And now, instead of getting stabbed to death, he takes his red lightsaber and throws it away at a dramatic moment, because lightsaber throwing is a really fun new sport in the sequel trilogy.
He throws away his lightsaber into the ocean.
And he's like, fuck this, I'm a good boy now.
I think that Kylo Ren's turnaround, his redemption, is like so quick and so glossed over.
You remember how the Vader thing took like 3 movies to redeem him? Well, in this one, it took one. It took like 10 minutes. No. It took about 5 seconds.
I honestly don't know how the fuck he gets off that planet. He doesn't have a ship.
And Rey is fucked off, so Poe and Finn and all them and Chewie take the Falcon and they go back to Yavin 4.
Chewie, Poe, and Finn come back to find out Leia's dead. And in the biggest emotional moment of the movie, Chewie drops to his knees and starts wailing.
Yes, I love Chewie, but the main character should be the ones driving the emotions, and in the climax you should feel something. There's not one point where the main characters get emotion out of me. The most emotion that got out of me was Chewie.
And then Rey goes to the same little island where Luke was.
So we have to see Porgs again. Fuck you, J.J. Abrams. I don't want this.
And she's like, oh, I don't want to do this.
I'm done with the Force. That's it. Done.
And so she goes to throw her lightsaber into the wreckage because she's done being a Jedi. And
it's Luke Skywalker. All his Force Ghost glory.
That's when Luke's Force Ghost hand reaches out.
Catches it, which is
weird because he's a Force Ghost. It should have just went right through him. Remember, Force Ghosts cannot interact with the physical world since they're already dead. They're already dead!
And he's coming out.
This ghost nigga.
No one clapped when they saw Luke in either of the showings. Usually people do when we see our OG characters, but no one did. So I thought that was also very telling and kind of sad.
I didn't really like this. I didn't.
I did not like Luke's Force Ghost.
Whose hair apparently grew after death.
Why kill Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi if you're going to bring him back for this and he's going to be so vital for the story?
And he says, now you need to show more respect for a Jedi's weapon.
You don't disrespect a Jedi's weapon like that.
Don't throw lightsabers like that.
And he looked right at the camera and flipped off Rian Johnson. Fuck you! Double fingers up the asshole without lube. That's right, Rian Johnson.
Middle finger, Rian Johnson.
Some of us understand the respect and dignity afforded to Luke Skywalker's fucking lightsaber.
Now they kind of made him what some of the fans wanted him to be.
Yeah, see, Last Jedi was all a mistake. Now I'm the Luke you guys all wanted all along. And like, ugh.
Luke's Force Ghost straight up says he was wrong to retreat to that island like a pussy and abandon his friends and family.
He's, talking her out of basically going down the path that he went down.
He became one with the Force, and now he's a little more chill. He's less bitter and.
Rey gets motivated again thanks to Luke. She doesn't really know how to get to Exegol, but that's fine because
Kylo Ren keeps his Wayfinder in his backup TIE fighter, not on his person.
And she takes Triangle Thing, which she tried to burn, but I guess she didn't, so she kind of just takes it out, and it's fine.
Now she's got the Wayfinder, which has survived being torched, and she's got the X-Wing because Force Ghost Luke lifts the X-Wing out of the ocean.
Right. And then this nigga Force Ghost bring the X-Wing out of the water.
He raises his ship for her.
And said, here, this has been underwater. This has been underwater.
What did he bring out?
The X-Wing.
his freaking X-Wing that was underwater and it was still fully functional.
And that shit works. The X-Wing works.
It's that
shit loves to be on the water collecting freaking gangrene and shit.
That she started right up. There she goes.
And the helmet was in there too.
Yep.
Everything she needs is right here on the island all along because
that was easy.
Force Ghosts can still use the Force, so why don't they pull like a freaking Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings movies by recruiting a bunch of ghosts to help fight?
She flies off to Testicle to find Palpatine. And she transmits the coordinates to the rest of the good guys.
And she's uploading copies of the map so they can get there too. And then, independently, Dio rolls into the room and also has a map. So it's like they spent forever getting these maps and suddenly there are so many maps, you don't even know what to do with all these maps. Everybody's got a map.
And this sets up our big final gobbledygook battle.
The third act is god-awful.
That third act is so much of what the
A Star Destroyer comes out and blows up a planet. When the planet blows up, you don't even know what fucking planet it is. Who cares, right?
One of the planet was Kijiji. No, sorry, Kimiji? What was the planet again?
Who cares? And not only that, so now we have a Star Destroyer acting as a Death Star.
All of a sudden, one Star Destroyer can destroy a planet? Oh, great, yes.
Every ship has planet-destroying powers, even though the Death Star was like a huge deal. They built this thing to destroy planets. Just throw one of those on every ship.
Fuck the Death Star. Look at this. The fucking trial size for your convenience.
And it's way more mobile and probably a lot more accurate and can get around faster and you can attack many planets at the same time.
It's like a bigger and better Death Star. No, even bigger, better Death Star. This one is like, no, every ship is a Death Star. And I'm like, okay, well, all right.
It's like when you're in middle school and you have these really cool, unique shoes and you think you're all cool, then the next week everyone has them. It's not as cool anymore. It loses its effect. So you're making the Death Star and the Starkiller base seem redundant, like they're not as cool anymore.
This is like that's the whole MO of the Empire is to destroy planets.
They're trying to blow up planets. Now, you don't even need a Death Star.
They never explain how Palpatine has this technology.
He's been working on this on that Sith planet for 30 years.
At least.
Yes.
They were bored the last 40 years, so they're like, let's fucking build it. What else are we gonna do? Build planet-destroying fucking ships.
So he's got a fleet. The Emperor has a fleet of Star Destroyers. Like, as
far as the eye can see.
That he keeps under the ice for some reason, and he has the power to lift up 1,000 Star Destroyers.
You know, like lifting these massive objects. It's very powerful. But if you pick him up over your head to throw him off a railing, he goes, ah!
Raising 5,000 Star Destroyers when he's in a weakened state. How does that work?
How have you built thousands of Star Destroyers in secret with never revealing who the fuck you are?
Not only that, where did he get the funding and the resources and the manpower to build this type of crap?
Where did you get the materials for that? Where did you get the resources for that? Where did you get the kyber crystals for that?
Where's he getting the metal and the supplies and the manufacturing for all this? He's using the Force to build ships that just magically out of nowhere?
These are actual machines. They're actual spaceships. Like, who built them?
Did he build them down there? Did he bury them down there? Where did he get all the personnel from? Who are those people? Ugh.
Each of these thousands of ships have like countless and countless of soldiers, technicians, pilots, navigators.
Did he conjure those people with Sith powers or Sith magic?
Why the fuck are these people just sitting on these Star Destroyers, just waiting, and then all of a sudden when you get the word, oh, we're gonna rise up to the sky. Whoa, that's a better view.
He doesn't have people that can fly him. So it might as well be a parking lot. And then,
for some reason, and I don't understand this at all, none of the Star Destroyers could leave the Sith planet.
The ship fleet was so ridiculously vulnerable.
Apparently, they took the time to fit each individual Star Destroyer with a giant death penis, but they didn't fit them with independent navigation.
We haven't gotten all the navigational beacons in stock yet. They're on order.
Oh, well, they have this thing on the ground that they need to use to basically triangulate so they can navigate out of the planet's atmosphere, because the ships themselves aren't designed to navigate in atmosphere, and they don't know which way's up without it.
there's magnetic fields and there's blah blah rays.
Then there was a centralized ship and it blah blah blah.
They tried to destroy the antenna thing, I remembered, at the ground, but it turns out they relocated it into one of the ships.
And it turns out the command ship also has one of these navigation towers.
I'm sick of these bad guys always having one thing that everybody has to destroy that'll wipe out the entire army. I'm so sick of that.
There's this one tower they have to destroy because they can't tell which way's up.
Star Destroyers can't go up, apparently. Go up. Go the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be coming from.
You just turn your back to the planet and start going in a direction.
They have windows. I've seen Darth Vader staring out of them. I think they can figure out which way's up. It was so stupid.
The space battle, which I was hoping would be great, was a massive fucking dud.
One of my things is I wanted a huge space battle. There is not a massive space battle. In fact, it is a space battle that makes no sense, that we don't actually ever really get to see pay off very well.
This tiny band of rebels who had basically no hope fighting against this huge, powerful order.
These resistance people, there's like 12 fucking people, are like, yeah, we're a little team, but we can do it if we stick together. No, you're not. You're all gonna fucking die.
They have a plan to just go to Exegol and just fight until Lando shows up with reinforcements.
I like that they mentioned the Holdo maneuver, and then they tried to say, oh, no, you can't do that. No, can't. Nope, it's not as easy as you think.
No, that's like a 1 in a million chance.
The 1 in a million tries to get that right. I'm like, really? That's your excuse for this?
It's too risky.
It's a 1 in a million shot.
We can't do it again because the movie has to happen. I don't know.
Fuck the Holdo maneuver.
And then, like, all these ships, right? And then Finn just looks at the ship and goes, like, oh, it's that one. And someone's like, how do you know?
He says, I have a feeling.
What? That's not how the Force works, man. A sensible reason I can see why we would do this is so we can move the ground assault on top of a Star Destroyer.
One of which they run across on space horses.
Fucking space horses are back.
Yeah, on the ship, they fucking got those things on a spaceship.
I turned to you and I'm like, you space horses.
Yeah. No. Hey, you never know. It's a space battle. There's all these Imperial ships and everything. We might need some horses.
It is just as fucking stupid as you think it is.
Star Destroyer could have easily just went like this.
Just turn sideways and fling them all off like that.
Who's fucking writing this shit? These people are getting paid top dollar. This is supposedly elite script writers.
They have an idea, and that's the idea. Why do they do it? It doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. There's no fucking point to it. Horses in space.
This is shortly after Poe giving his very Aragorn end of days speech, and now we have this end of days charge. And like, I'm sorry, you lack the gravitas of all of the above, and why are there forces on a spaceship? It just doesn't make any sense.
Also, Finn wants to sacrifice himself again for like what, the third time to like destroy the antenna.
Why are we doing this again? Where once again Finn's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and Rose is like, wait, why? But of course he's not, because there were no stakes in this movie.
They turned off the bottom comm tower. Why didn't they just turn it back on when they were threatened on their big ship? Why is there only one on the big ship?
Oh yeah, and also get to see the Sith troopers. There's nothing much unique about them aside from them being red.
Nothing important about Sith troopers at all. They're just red.
What was the point in them being Sith? So they could be fucking red? What is this? What is fucking red? Is that what the point of it was? They aren't even better shots than the First Order.
But didn't they look like First Order stormtroopers?
Yes.
Wouldn't they look like classics?
Don't think about it.
If the Star Destroyers...
They're in the movie for 5 seconds. It doesn't matter.
We gotta move on.
So they all get there. Like, Rey gets there. She's, like, confronting Palpatine.
Rey confronts the world's worst fucking grandpa, man.
Like, hey, Grandpa, where is my Christmas card?
So she gets over there. Emperor said, you are my granddaughter. You are Palpatine.
Kill me, my granddaughter, and I will go in you. I've seen enough Pornhub to know where this is going.
Strike me down. Let your hate consume you. And like, hey, where have I heard this before? Where have I heard? Oh, I remember. You tried it with Luke Skywalker, and you got your ass thrown off a balcony where you died. Where you died. Why would you try that again?
Then you will be all the Sith. You can rule in my place.
He combined every Sith who's ever lived within himself.
Because Chris Terrio can't write shit.
And wants to, like, possess his granddaughter's body or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb.
Why doesn't he fucking just run it himself?
Yeah.
He spent fucking 6 movies either trying to get in charge or being in charge, and now he's like, you do it. What?
Like she was gonna say yes to that.
Right.
It turns out that Palpatine wanted her not to kill her, but for her to kill him. Okay, if that was his plan in the first place, why did he tell Kylo Ren to find her to kill her? That doesn't make any sense!
Then he opens his giant sunroof to show Rey that his Star Destroyers are currently killing all of her friends.
Oh look, all your friends are dying. Let me have Emperor Palpatine open up a window so you can see all your friends dying.
Your friends are going to die, and and
just with lots more strobe lights.
Yes, and join me. Whatever.
Kill me and use my power to save your friends.
He's in this weird little throne room with like 50,000 shadow dudes. Like, where did he get a fucking stadium of followers all of a sudden?
It's like the Super Bowl of the Sith meeting. Have all the Siths, like, in stands and shit.
Who were all those people in that stadium?
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
You're telling me all these Sith are just all chilling and just hanging around, like, waiting for, like, the day to come?
Sitting very patiently for Rey to arrive in their black robes. They must smell like ass.
I don't know who they are, what they are, how old they are. Have they been eating? Have they been using the bathroom?
What do they eat? Like, what do they drink? Like, where do they sleep? What are they doing?
How did he recruit Sith followers when he was hidden in Exegol for like 30 years?
Where did they all come from? Who are these people?
Were those people?
I thought they were the embodiments of the thousands of dead Sith that had come before. That was
That's how I
That was my
interpreted it.
interpretation, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
While Grampy is in a very evil way telling Rey how awesome she is, Kylo decides to show up.
In a sweater he got at the Gap. He stopped real quick at the Gap. He's like, I gotta get out of these goth emo clothes and shit. Put on a comfy sweater.
He was like wearing like baggy shirt with like sweatpants. It was like, what happened to his uniform? What is this? He's like ready for a track meet.
Kylo Ren shows up, doesn't show you how, it just shows a little ship there. I mean, I don't know, he just got there. Why not?
He got another TIE fighter. How'd he get the TIE fighter when he was stranded on the ruins of the Death Star? I don't freaking know. He's just there.
And I run with no weapon in my jammies to go help my friend / girlfriend / second cousin.
Ben is hurrying on his way to come help her out, and then we have like the only moment where the Knights of Ren do anything, where he has to face them down.
And do shit.
They didn't do shit.
They're completely useless. The Knights of Ren are fucking pushovers. They don't even talk in this movie.
They die like a bunch of bitches as well. They don't do anything. The whole movie, they lurk around. They're there.
Like, they have no lines. I don't know what their names are or anything about them.
Don't learn why they became the Knights of Ren, why they joined Kylo, if any of them were students.
So instantly I'm like, you Knights of Ren have been trashed this entire sheet.
Yo, trash leader about to trash y'all.
Yo, trash leader's about to wreck you with the force power.
Yeah.
All he gonna do is boom, and you're dead.
But man, he got his ass kicked. I'm like, dude.
They wrecked him with weapons. And he has this ultimate power. Anyway.
And then as she's getting ready to deal the killing blow, she force connects with Kylo Ren and they make eye contact. And you're like, oh.
They're connected again. And she's like, yay, Ben's here to save me. So we get this cute little magic trick where it's like, oh, you are going to strike me down. And she's like a lightsaber behind the back.
And Sidious instantly came. Kill me.
And Kylo Ren picks it up.
Oh no, what do I have behind my back? It's a lightsaber that I got force handed to me because...
That was easy.
He got this, then he wrecks them. So you needed a sword to kill them. Without all your Jedi power, you needed the saber. Trash. Let's move on.
And then she uses her other lightsaber to fight off all of Palpatine's goons, and they have a big lightsaber fight. And then he runs into where she is, and then they lift up their lightsabers to indicate that they're going to try to kill Palpatine together.
Ben, now you get a blue lightsaber too! So we can be blue together, because blue's for good guys!
Then, like a stupid anime villain, Palpatine uses his force powers to lift them both up.
And Palpatine's like, ooh, a dyad! What?
What the fuck is a dyad in the Force?
First time that's ever been introduced.
I don't know why it took 9 movies to introduce something like that.
Her and Kylo have some type of link that makes them extra powerful or something. He senses this and snatches their dual life bond.
Oh, I can just suck away your life force and come back? That's a whole lot easier.
And then he yells, the power of two restores the one true emperor.
So then he turns into a Dementor and starts sucking the life out of them.
But then he gets the blowback and he's like, oh shit, my fingers are growing back.
Because their bond makes him grow fingers back.
His fingers grow back and his face goes back to evil Palpatine, not the Senator Palpatine.
So either Grandpa has changed his mind or he forgot that Rey is his grandchild because he suffers from dementia and he tries to kill them both.
I'm gonna change my plans. Fuck being the co-emperor. I'm gonna drain you fuckers.
Where the fuck is going?
But they don't die all the way because he doesn't fucking kill them all the way, because why?
Rey and Kylo are on the ground, drain the fuck out, and then Kylo still has energy, gets up slowly, and Palpatine force grabs him and tosses him into like some hole in the ground that's like just so happens to be there.
And I'm assuming since, like, you know, he drained most of their life force, so I'm assuming they're really weak and pretty much on the brink of death, if not dead. So him falling off that cliff, he's probably, I would assume he's dead.
But I was really hoping that they were going to work together to try to take down the ultimate threat.
The Resistance starts getting ass fucked And Poe's like, I'm sorry, I thought this was gonna work.
No one's gonna help us. We're alone. Oh, I wonder who's gonna help you.
But then all of a sudden, there they are! And here comes Lando again.
Lando's like, check me out, bitches!
You knew when they sent off Lando to get reinforcements, he was going to show up with reinforcements.
People come this time. They make a big deal out of the fact that in the second film of the trilogy, when they called for help,
nobody picks up the phone to help them. Because even their fellow rebels hated that movie. Lando picks up the phone. Every ship in the galaxy shows up. It's hilarious.
I might go die now, actually, for Lando.
Because he gathered like thousands of people together in like 15 minutes. And he went from the unknown regions to the core regions in like 15 minutes. Gathered everybody in 15 minutes. Like, came back. What?
Including Tits, who somehow got off kimchi even though we saw it blow up.
Somehow she got off the planet. Somehow she got off the planet to go join them in the final battle. And then she...
And how did the fleet get through that bloody minefield out the front of Exegol? Like, through all those asteroids and lightning storms and whatever the fuck that all was.
The entire Republic fleet was able to fly in there like it was nothing.
Got 1,000 Star Destroyers versus all the ships in the galaxy now.
So all those ships are flying around like fucking ants, like flying ants in the summer, fucking everywhere, upon planet Testicle.
You know, when he had all the ships, who did they show? Wedge! For 1.2 seconds! That's it! Wedge!
The part that made me laugh the hardest was when he just shot his Force lightning up into space.
Motherfucker threw his hands in the air and fucking went Force lightning everything.
Palpatine becoming a Death Star himself, shooting shit like
fucking finger bangs the fucking fleet with his sparkly fingers and shit.
And it's disrupting every single rebel ship and all this shit.
And just blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, all right, I guess that's really that's a cartoon. That's a fucking cartoon.
So now he's like omnipotent. There's basically nothing this cunt can't do.
He starts walking and he gets this like really slick like red robe and it looks pretty damn cool.
Rise, Rey! Even though you're a fucking Palpatine and people trust you more than fucking Ben Solo, who's in the bottom of a fucking pit.
I hate the pit. Honestly, all pits in Star Wars.
They come to her. Anakin comes to her. Ashoka comes to her.
Qui-Gon's voice, like, we're with you. Anakin, he's like, you know, I bring balance to the Force like I did. And you're like, is that what you did?
Bring balance to the Force like I once did. It's like, get fucked.
How did Anakin bring balance to the Force?
Bring balance to the Force like I did. I don't like sand.
And the last one you hear is fucking Yoda. Like, that shit was so unexpected and it was so fucking funny. Get up, you can, with your punk ass bitch.
Get up, you're our last hope.
Rey, you're great, Rey. You're just the best. Rey is the best. She's never failed. She's perfect. Look at how powerful you are. Go, Rey, defeat Palpatine and be great.
Because Rey apparently needs to be so powerful. She needs to be the real chosen one. Anakin, oh, that was just all a joke. George Lucas was a joke. George Lucas sold it to us so we can do whatever we want. We owe it now. We don't have to respect the characters. We can do our own thing, whether it works or not.
Nobody can identify with somebody that's perfect, and then by the end of the film is more perfect.
It would have been so much cooler, though, that we've actually seen their Force ghosts.
I wish that scene would have been a little bit more in depth. I wish they would have shown the actual Jedis, like Anakin, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon.
Why couldn't you just become a ghost right there and attack the Emperor? You apparently had the power to do it. You can apparently affect the natural world. So what the heck are you saying, Rey? If you do nothing, then we lose. What do you mean? You go do something.
Anyway, she gets the strength to stand up, grabs her lightsaber. Palpatine uses Force lightning.
Throws the electricity at Rey, and Rey does a Mace Windu. Puts the saber up, catches the electricity, and she's
And Palpatine is like, I am inevitable. I mean, I am all the Sith. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is totally like the Thanos and Tony Stark.
And I am. And then I was instantly thinking of Infinity War. I'm Iron Man.
And then she shows him the power of 2 sabers.
Rey has both fucking sabers. Boo. Ooh, let's go, bitch.
And I have all the Jedi in me.
And she blocks his lightning so far that he disintegrates himself.
I'm too weak. Please don't let her kill me. He kills himself. Like a layers, skeleton, flesh, tissue, the white meat.
Palpatine, this is twice now that you should have just stopped using your lightning and you didn't.
That's kind of his thing. It does seem to be. That guy zaps himself a lot.
The strongest version of Emperor Palpatine we've ever seen, and he's a fucking idiot. He didn't learn his lesson.
And she fucking kills Palpatine because whatever.
Therefore, she's now, I guess, the chosen one. And she destroyed the Emperor.
He's fucking gone until they need him again. Some other trilogy down the road.
And the explosion causes a shockwave to destroy not only the Colosseum, but to kill all the Sith followers. So woo!
And killing the Emperor kills her. She's just laying there.
Because she was too exhausted. She died! She was...
I don't know. It's just not that strong, I guess.
It doesn't explain how. She just kind of falls over and is dead.
And I was like, oh man, are they like actually gonna kill Rey? That'd be intense.
Tried to make it look like Rey was dead. I was like, you don't have the balls, Mickey. You don't have the balls to say her and be like, girl power and this new girl Jedi, and then just kill her off.
And I'm like the whole time waiting like for Palpatine's essence to go into her and nothing fucking happened.
She should have became a Sith because she struck him down. But nope. There's a loophole. He kills himself, therefore she doesn't turn evil. Episode 1, Episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Palpatine's the mastermind through all of this. And then he kills himself.
And then Ben comes out of the pit. Ben comes out of the fucking pit and with no help whatsoever.
Now this man has enough energy to crawl himself out that bitch. He landed somewhere. He got hurt.
Because falling off of things doesn't really mean anything in Star Wars.
He comes over to her, uses the Force to heal her and bring her back. Now check this shit right here.
He comes,
Show enough.
He picks her up, heals her, she puts her hand on, wakes her up. They look at each other. Ben, Kylo. And you're like, oh no. Why would they kiss? Why would they kiss? And then they kiss. And we're all like, oh, what?
Because why?
I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know why they had to do that. There was no romantic feelings before. It was rivalry, and
I don't even recall any connection that they had prior to this.
You've never met Ben in your entire life. All you knew was Kylo Ren, the murderer.
The man killed his own father.
She watched Kylo murder his own dad in front of her.
Called him a monster in the first and second movies.
He killed millions of people. He was the leader of the First Order. He caused pain and suffering to Rey.
And she's in love with this guy?
I just walked out.
Don't kiss murderous, genocidal fascists.
Then the most funniest thing fucking happens. Kylo smiles and fucking drops.
Why did Kylo Ren just die immediately after that and he fell over like a little pancake?
Wordlessly flopping over dead. It just feels so awkward. It got uncomfortable chuckles in every screening I went to.
And I did kind of chuckle. I felt bad about chuckling, but I did.
I mean, I guess the reason he had no dialogue is probably that the MPAA says you can only shout Rey 27 times in your film before they bump you up to an R rating. And obviously Finn had already blown through their quota.
We see Ben Solo die, and this is really bothering me because they basically kill Rey, he revives her, they kiss, he dies. And it's just like, what?
Because it's unearned, nothing led up to that. I'm just gonna kiss you and die. Thus, with a kiss, I die. Like, oh my god.
I don't like you, you don't like me. We're a difference. Now we're on the same team now. But I love you. What the fuck?
I hated the kiss. I hated that he died right afterwards. That was so awkward and just...
I was still like trying to get my head around the kiss, and then he died, and I was just like, I didn't have a reaction to that. So,
They kissed, and she did. I guess now she can kill people with the kiss. I guess she's that powerful now, too.
It's funny how she didn't disappear right away, but he did. But I guess.
Rey's body was there for a solid, minute and a half. But Ben instantly died, so she can't bring him back.
Poe and the Resistance take out all the bad guys in the sky.
Finn and Jenna were able to destroy the antenna thingy that blows up the Star Destroyer that Pride was in, and all the Star Destroyers can't attack them anymore because they're disabled or some shit like that. Lando flying in with the Millennium Falcon was able to save Jenna and Finn from dying, so it's all good. So anyway, they get back to the Resistance base. Everybody is happy. They won. They're celebrating. People are hugging and kissing. We get a lesbian kiss.
Sie werden saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
LGBTQ is gonna be mad at this.
Be happy, LGBT community. You've earned this moment. What a great moment of representation for you. Guess who's not buying that? The queer community. They're not fucking buying it. Sorry, your fan service, your pandering is falling on deaf ears at this point, Disney. You fucking failed.
What they call them?
It's JW LGBTQ.
Bro, they
LGBTQ plus.
For 2 seconds.
Two out of focus females in the background kiss. So progressive. Way to go, Disney!
That hug with the giant slug got more screen time than the lesbian kiss.
The best part of the movie for me was anytime that 7-foot-tall yellow slug was on screen. Anytime it was in frame next to a human, I was newly delighted at just how giant of a slug it really was.
Rey shows up and the whole group reunites and they get into a group hug.
Why are you guys doing a three-way hug right now? That's not what you were building up to.
And Poe is like, huh? He's doing like a, how about you and I?
He started doing this, which I thought was weird for Star Wars.
He's like, hey, you want to go fuck somewhere? And she shakes her head no, and he's like, okay, maybe next time.
What? Didn't you just want that?
Poe does not get the kiss from tits. One of the only kisses we see is some gay chick kissing some other gay chick.
And then Chewie kisses Metal.
Oh my god, I fucking forgot about
What was that?
Because, Doug, and it's bothered fans since A New Hope, Chewie never got a medal in A New Hope. And let us not forget, the biggest sin of all time, Chewie didn't get a hug.
I'll give it to you when I'm dead.
I couldn't fucking believe it. I'm like...
She saw him like a million times after that.
So cynical, too.
Why would she give it to him at this moment? It's
for
for the audience's sake.
It got lost in the mail.
Whatever. Sure, give Chewie his medal.
And then Janna's storyline feels like so much of it was left on the cutting room floor.
I hate that weird Lando and Janna moment at the end. It was so weird.
So where are you from? I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
why don't we find out? The part was like, is he fucking hitting on her?
I thought he was hitting on her. I was like, that is so weird. The way he's talking, I was just so weird. She's supposed to be his daughter, the lost daughter that we never even heard this story. I was like, what?
Because at the end she goes, I don't know where I'm from. And then Lando's like, hey, you want to find out?
And why did Rey go to Tatooine? Rey hates desert planets. So why is she on this desert planet that's not even her home, where everybody lived as a slave? Why? Why? Tatooine is depressing.
Tatooine has no positive significance for Rey or Leia or even really Luke. Luke hated it and thought it was boring and wanted to leave, and his only family there was also brutally murdered.
And then Rey goes to Luke's old home and then dumps the two lightsabers of Leia and Luke in the sand.
She also has the power of Force Dig, which is pretty stupid, but whatever. How did Rey know where that little farmhouse was?
She's just there. She found it on Google Maps.
And in this random woman with the space camel shows up.
It could have been that super old lady who said, "My bones are aching, Annie. There's a storm coming."
And she tells Ray, "Who are you?"
Why does this old woman in a desert need to know her last name anyway?
And then there's like a long pause, and Ray looks out to the sunset.
They set shit up before you see. Fuck! Right when she said that.
I'm Ray.
Ray Skywalker.
Why does she say Ray Skywalker? Why?
Really?
No. No, you are not.
She will never be a Skywalker because she's not related to the fucking Skywalkers.
She's Ray Palpatine. Just because you identify as something doesn't make you that thing.
You are not legally or biologically a Skywalker.
That's really weird because you just made out with the last Skywalker, and now you're taking the Skywalker name onto yourself.
When Luke and Leia appear on Tatooine, I was expecting Ben to kind of appear to the left in the same way Anakin did in Return of the Jedi.
Whatever happened to Kylo Ren? Why wasn't his ghost there, by the way?
Where is Ben's Force ghost? If he's dead, we need to have some sort of acknowledgement.
Put the main Skywalker in that scene with the children. Put Anakin there.
You have Ghost Luke and Ghost Leia smiling at the fact that their nephew is dead. What? Really? Seriously? I wanted the film to end with Ben Solo, a Skywalker. It just is weird to have Leia and Luke sitting in the distance smiling like, ha 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 ha, you adopted our name, Rey Skywalker, when she has no bloodline to the actual Skywalker name.
And then she takes out a hand, ding, there's a yellow lightsaber because...
She has a yellow lightsaber at the end of this movie, and I don't understand why!
I don't remember how she learned how to make her own lightsaber, because I don't think she ever fucking did. I don't think she was ever taught, but bing, she's got a lightsaber.
And it turns out that yellow lightsabers aren't really common. In fact, they're kind of rare. So, how was Rey able to build her own lightsaber if yellow lightsabers were not common? They were kind of rare.
What matters is that the movie shows us that she has built a new lightsaber and it is yellow because the fans wanted to know what color lightsaber she has. That's our final beat in the movie. It's like Rey Skywalker, new lightsaber, just ticking off another box of meaningless information with no emotion behind it.
They even had Ewoks, for crying out loud. Ewoks and Star Destroyers nosediving into things.
They show Endor again with fucking Ewoks.
We get Ewoks. Fucking Ewoks.
Oh, that was the awful part. How Cloud City is celebrating and the Ewoks are celebrating. Oh no, you're just doing Return of the Jedi all over again, except with no meaning.
So here we are at the end of it all. The end of the Disney trilogy. The end of the so-called Skywalker saga. The true end of the greatest franchise in history. And it turns out that the entire story was about Grampy Palpy wanting to give his granddaughter the Sith version of a $12.50 check on her birthday.
Ultimately, the climax of the movie isn't about internal struggle or resisting darkness. It's just figuring out a way to kill Palpatine. It's just about whether or not Rey can produce a powerful enough laser to defeat an evil cackling Frankenstein monster she met 10 minutes ago.
Palpatine returns, Rey beats him. That's all you need to know.
And when it ended, I was the first person out of the theater. Literally, I was the first person out of the theater.
Many people left the theater. Many people were like slapping their heads just the same as me.
So I'm gonna start with saying what I said as the credits started. What the fuck was that shit?
Who is responsible for this shit?
It was like infuriating.
Really made me angry. Really made me angry. That's why I'm laughing. Because I'm so mad.
I gotta keep walking. I'm getting so upset. I gotta keep walking. I gotta get this energy out of me.
Rise of Skywalker is a definite thumbs down film.
A film that plays out like a 2-hour and 20-minute trailer directed by someone addicted to Adderall who decided to take up booger sugar on the side for a hobby.
J.J. Jar Jar Abrams is freaking garbage.
Let me give you a clown mask. Because you're a fucking clown.
This was probably the greatest comedy that's ever been created.
I actually laughed. I chuckled, thinking this must be a joke.
If The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars film ever created, this is next.
First problem, this film does not feel like a cohesive sequel to The Last Jedi.
J.J. Abrams saw The Last Jedi and he was like, yeah, that was a good movie. But let's pretend it never happened.
They tried too hard to pander to all the people who hated The Last Jedi.
Like, oh, you didn't like that? Well, this is a lie. That was a lie. This is a lie. That was a lie. This is a lie. Also this. And Rey isn't even a Skywalker in reality. She just picks up the name.
You can skip The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is like a filler episode of Dragon Ball Z. You don't need to see it. And then you can just go right to episode 9.
They took Ryan's movie and just shit all over it.
It was like the movie was a fan fiction written by someone who really did not like The Last Jedi and who just wanted to undo everything.
Essentially, JJ tried to pretend like Last Jedi never happened.
It just seemed like it was clearly different writers. It just seemed like...
If you could say anything about this film, it had an identity crisis. Is it The Force Awakens or is it The Last Jedi? It couldn't make up its mind.
Feels like my parents are getting divorced and I have to like choose.
Do you pick Rian Johnson or Jar Jar Abrams?
And then what happens is I waited too long and they're like, fuck you, kid.
It is just retconning everything that happened in The Last Jedi.
It's a giant retcon of bullshit.
I really think that they were afraid of the fandom. I think The Last Jedi and the discourse that it had, their beef that everyone had in the fandom, I think it scared them.
You know, this was a big fucking giant ass nostalgia hard on.
The nostalgia baiting is single-handedly the worst.
Hey, look, nostalgia, Millennium Falcon, Lando, nostalgia. Don't think about it. Look at the pretty colors. Look at Lando. He's back. He's old. He didn't die. We didn't kill Lando.
He's trying to save himself and make himself look good to the fans by throwing fan service that doesn't make sense.
He did do a lot of fan service.
And I'm gonna keep it a bug with you, man.
The fan service in this movie was wholly unnecessary.
Fan service in this movie is off the fucking scale.
It should be called Star Wars: The Rise of Bad Fan Fiction. That's the title of the film.
It just dredges up as many things as it possibly can that the audience knows for no reason. It just does because.
Everything was just fucking pointless. Nothing mattered in this trilogy.
None of it matters. There's no stakes.
The weakest part of this movie was the story.
The story doesn't feel complete for some reason. It doesn't feel like the end.
It just didn't feel like a conclusion.
The script is so bad. I can't believe this script got okayed.
So it is the clunkiest fucking story in this whole trilogy, and the other two were already fucking shit. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. I don't, like, what is going on?
There were so many times in this film I was like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? No! That's stupid! Oh my god.
It's disjointed, it's discombobulated, it is a mess.
The story is messy. It's messy.
It is a mess. It is a train wreck, and there's no doubt about it. There's nobody that can convince me otherwise.
They weren't prepared. They just were not ready for what it takes to make a Star Wars movie the right way, and they didn't focus on, in my opinion, a lot of the right things.
Some of the plot points that were raised before, they just threw it out the window and just acted like it doesn't matter.
It's like, oh, let's just throw as much crap on the screen as audiences remember, and hopefully they will just forget about the embarrassing structure and story that we've cobbled together out of nothing.
And it betrayed all of us who were expecting an excellent resolution, one that made sense, one that didn't have massive plot holes.
We just have to like accept it for some reason, but I guess, hey, maybe we'll explain it in a comic book or in a novel that we have to like buy to figure out what the hell is going on.
There's just so many holes and things that are just not explained, and they don't care to explain it.
It's just so confusing, this movie. So bad. So bad.
I need a fucking beer. I need 20 beers. I need something to just wipe this from my memory.
Now more than ever, it seems very evident to me that they had no idea what they were doing. There was no plan at all.
Disney and Lucasfilm had no fucking plan for this series.
It is 100% true that there was no roadmap whatsoever for this trilogy.
There was no roadmap. There was no imagination. There was no creativity.
There is nothing creative and original about this trilogy.
To stupidly go into a new trilogy without an actual plan? Are you kidding me? Without a complete overarching story that they wanted to achieve?
The real person at fault here is Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, and Disney, because when they bought this property from George Lucas, they did not have a roadmap for where they wanted to take this trilogy, and it really shows when looking at the final product.
No one over at Disney, including JJ, really understands Star Wars and what makes it special.
It's just heartbreaking to me. I lost my fucking mind with this franchise.
The writing is so crammed. This movie show felt like it should have been 2 movies, but they crammed like 2 movies into one.
Yeah, this is basically 2 movies that J.J. Abrams tried to cram into one.
I hate that this movie felt like 2 movies crammed into one. This pacing felt off. This movie felt rushed.
The pacing in this thing is fucking atrocious.
Every single minute, something was happening, and it was like 10 things were happening within that one single minute.
It's 7,000 different ideas that could have been, and rather than focusing on any of those ideas and making it great, they just throw them in here into a blender.
So of course what we get is this film that's an unmitigated train wreck of a film that simultaneously tries to undo The Last Jedi, explain The Emperor's Return, and introduce new characters.
Why did you bring so many new characters in that didn't pose any story purpose in the least?
I don't know. I don't know who the protagonist is. Can someone tell me?
Rey, Finn, and Poe. They mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. I don't hate the characters, you guys. I don't hate them. But they don't mean anything when I think of the end of the saga, when you think of these 6 movies in here.
There's no character arcs in this movie. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. The characters have no sway on the movie, it seems. The characters just go wherever the script needs them to go and do whatever the script needs them to do because it's a movie. So who cares about logic?
This movie spits upon everything that is Star Wars.
It's literally just a big F you to the original characters. You know, like F you Luke, F you Anakin. You thought you can defeat me? Well, no, no, no. Only my granddaughter can defeat me.
This single film ruined the entire original trilogy.
Yeah, because
this one
Sidious
movie
came back too.
We had 8 movies, and on the last movie, this is what you guys decided to do.
It's the last film. It's over. They can't get this one back. This is what we get.
This movie is not part of Star Wars for me. I don't consider this Star Wars, and if I have kids, they're never going to see this.
Yep. That was Star Wars Episode 9, y'all. Rise of Skywalker.
I'm done. I'm done with Star Wars. I don't care what saga they make. I'm done.
I think the lesson that I've learned from this discussion is that when it comes to Star Wars, I enjoy it the most when I just don't try to make sense of it.
This is a movie about outer space with robots, laser swords, and magic fucking powers. And you want it to make sense? Get the fuck out of here!
Rian Johnson, you were right.
Disney, forget the past. Kill it if you have to. Son of a bitch!